Good morning. Welcome to Destination Freedom. This is Emily Payton. It is July 12th, and today I was looking at how many ways we have been deceived by the press, lied to in order to fabricate a new narrative. Right now, the news is all over January 6th, and I was reflecting on 2011 and the way people just didn't question what went on, just like they haven't questioned the rollout of these vaccines and the concern about that. Um, so I want to say that uh, because the media lie, does that mean that everybody lies just because the media is lying on behalf of the corporate elite? Um, I think that this is where the freedom will be completely different than the kind of experience we have now, since prosperity will be encouraged and supported, and no one needs to be impoverished in order to support singular prosperity of other people. So what we're going to do is we're going to end profiteering for the sake of profiteering and begin prosperity as a state of being across the board. Does it look dark right now? It sure does look dark. All the more reason for us to hold what it is that we want in our hearts and to understand that today too many people are getting by lying. So they justify it because they have to take care of their families. So their families are dependent on the income they make from this and such job, or whether it be in the nuclear industry, whether it be in the political industry, whether it be in the media industry or the medical industry. And so they believe that they're protecting their immediate circle by perpetuating lies, and some of them even can close their eyes and not even um, allow the questions. So our job as people is to find a way that we can live with these people who have denied the truth and denied us the truth for their personal sake, and to do so in a way that doesn't tear us apart and eat us apart. My concern and hope is that those of us who really crave and reflect harmony in our homesteads, in our homes, in our schools, in our communities, will understand that othering, even if it's othering people who have lied or perpetrated wrongs, or RICO or coercion, or even if we other those people and make them the enemy, then we are creating a discord within ourselves. So I'm not suggesting that people who behave in a way that harms others aren't accountable. I'm suggesting that within ourselves that we refuse to be torn up with hatred, and we seek a method of um, loving the reality of having a good enemy. I mean, many of us love to have a scapegoat and love to hate certain people. It's in a strange way. It fires us up to hate, have objects of our hate and scorn. I don't believe that this is healthy, just like glyphosate isn't healthy, just like processed sugar is not healthy. Um, so when we head towards freedom, we're going to be clearing our minds and our experiences of these negative um, and harming and damning outlooks. It harms our personal health, yours and my personal health, to be hating. That has an effect on our cells, on our body, and our physicality for what we think it affects our bodies and how our health is. So it's really, uh, really a big shift to, number one, yes, hold people accountable for their actions. How do we do that? We can't do that with the legal system that we have that allows the elite or the cabals or the perpetrators to go free. And how do we cope with our inner reality as we head into this horrendous collapse of society, where the perpetrators of violence from every level, from the people committing violence against innocent people to the elite and corporates committing violence against the people and all the people who go along to get along. How do we uh, encourage health within ourselves by stopping our hateful thoughts? And I certainly have this problem as well. It just appalls me. Nonetheless, the more that we can take a step back and generate a lack of othering and generate, yes, you're going to be held accountable, but I don't hate you. The hatred is being emanated from you. That's your own lack of love, the elite's own lack of love, that they would harm people with a vaccine, that they would cover up the harms, that they would promote more of this, or that they would allow the kind of violence and create the kind of division that they have. That's on us to refute and refuse. Yeah, I'm going to do a screen share. I want to show you this. So there's a couple things here. I'll just take this one right here. This is, I just saw this today, and it shows how your outrage is manufactured. So it's just a comparison of the different types of violence that are allowed and the purposeful divisions that are being created. So it's comparing the violence of the Black Lives Matter, and you know, the majority of Americans are dedicated dedicated to all of humanity, of all color, and for the uplifting of all humanity. And this is a fabrication that uh, is created to divide us, and do not let it divide us, of course. So have you read through, you probably have read through everything here. The Black Lives Matter riots, 500, lasted 7 months, 20 plus murders by participants, hundreds of small business destroyed, 150 federal buildings damaged, 1 billion to 2 billion damage, 2,000 and some officers assaulted, protesters bailed out, encouraged by the media and politicians and downplayed in the media, national encouragement. So January 6th is labeled as right wing. It lasted a couple of hours, 0 murders, no small businesses destroyed, 1 federal building slightly damaged, 1.5 million damage, 140 officers assaulted, and protesters kept in solitary confinement, encouraged by fringe political groups and agitators and exaggerated by the media. So this comparison I'm bringing forward, not to say that one group is right or one group is wrong. It's to allow all of us who are done with othering other Americans to see clearly the tactics um, that are going on. Of course, everybody's life matters, and of course, no enslavement should happen. That's what freedom is really all about. Now, I wanted to show this other, and this is economic, because I think, of course, it is. It seems to be about justice. It seems to be about politics. It seems to be, that's what everything seems to be about. But really, it's about the economy, and that's why. To get to freedom, we need to design the economy. And here was a nice little meme that came through about the economy. So here we have the linear economy: take, make, use, and waste. This is like consumerism. This is the debt-based, where you have to pay back more than you borrowed, and you have to compete to do so. Recycling economy: take, make, use, recycle, make, but still there's a lot of waste. So a circular economy, where you can see you take, make, use, you recycle, you return, you repair, reuse. And what's interesting is I don't particularly agree with that you take and make. But what you're doing is you're making in a higher quality. We're not making things to be disposable, which is the aim of profiteering, is to profit more. So it doesn't matter if you throw it away. We need to sell more car parts. We need to sell more ink cartridges. So we make it to waste it. And in freedom, our economy is going to eschew. It doesn't want to make waste. We want to make things that are beautiful and that last and that work and that make sense. The point is not to profiteer, but rather to prosper. So I was also this morning reflecting on the role of colonial script in history. Let me stop share for a second. I don't know how we do this. Can I stop share? Oh, where to go? Over here. Okay. So in history, the Benjamin Franklin went to the potlatches that the Iroquois Indians had, and he saw them take all the wampum every year and redistribute it every year according to the occasions that he wanted to do. Sorry, let me back up. Benjamin Franklin went to the potlatches and he saw the chiefs come together and bring in all the wampum and put it in the middle of the circle and redistribute it amongst the people according to the occasions that they wanted to celebrate. And this triggered a thought in his head, and it was a light bulb. Subsequently, after that, the colonial peoples, who were quite striated, some were impoverished, they began to circulate colonial script. And this was fiat money. It didn't have anything backing it. They just agreed that it would allow the exchange of value. It would symbolize the exchange of value. They didn't tax it. They didn't have interest. Interest wasn't demanded on it. So there was a period of time where the people were enormously prosperous because Benjamin Franklin realized it wasn't that there wasn't enough workers or work to do, it was there wasn't enough means of exchange to symbolize the workers and the work that people wanted to do. Then Benjamin Franklin went to England, and he looked around and he saw all these poor houses and almshouses and people in poverty, and he was alarmed and appalled, and he said, wow, we don't have that back in the colonies. I think I pulled some quotes from there that I could tell you about. Let's see. He said that it's impossible to find a happier and more prosperous population on all the surface of the globe. He was talking about the colonies, of course. And then he went to England, and he was asked how the colonies avoided the impoverishment that they saw in England. And he said, and I'm quoting, that is simple. In the colonies, we issue our own money. It is called colonial script. We issue it in proper proportion to make the products pass easily from the producers to the consumers. In this manner, creating our own paper money ourselves, we control its purchasing power, and we have no interest to pay to anyone. And of course, most of you know that uh, after the Revolutionary War, in the Constitution, Article 1, Section 8, Paragraph 5 states, Congress shall have the power to coin money and to regulate the value thereof. And most people also know that the tax on tea was not the real root of the American Revolution, but rather, once Benjamin Franklin went over there and told the English how the Americans were doing it, the bankers prodded their parliamentarians, and of course they passed a law that colonial script was not allowed. So here we have in America, the only thing that's allowed is this US dollar, only that we are finding these workarounds. And as we head into freedom, one of the most important legal constructs that we can employ is the private contracting association. This private contracting association is upheld in our Constitution as sacred. So we all can agree, we the people can agree to contract privately amongst ourselves and issue what amounts to colonial script. Now, I'd like to take it a little bit further and have that quote-unquote colonial script, I'm calling it MAP, money is passion, that we issue money to be able to encourage and support the passions of the people. And that's what we will do when we get through all the mess here. So in freedom, when we get into an economy where everybody is doing exactly what they want to do, then we don't have the same pushes to an economy of war or an economy of incarceration and so forth. So when I'm talking about the design of freedom, I'm not just talking about it as a sort of amorphous thing. I'm talking about 6 areas of social agreements that need to be adjusted in order for humans, starting with America or wherever, to be able to experience the freedom that is natural to humanity. And I've spoken briefly about how justice ought to be delivered and will be delivered through the what I call the law of love, which is I've already discussed that. You can see other other of my offerings to see about that, and then through so I call that LOL, and then all life learning, ALL. So there's the justice and the educative system, the monetary system, MAP, and the uh, governance system. I'm not going to talk too long right now. So there's a governance system that allows all the wisdom of the people to create the policies in the future that we want to, and then we select the representatives to enact it, rather than today where we elect representatives and hope and pray and bug them to do the right thing, and invariably the pressures of the corporate governance does not ever allow the right thing to happen, because, well, not ever, but for the most part, because if our system was working properly, we wouldn't have poverty, we wouldn't have violence, we would have healthy food, we wouldn't have sickness. All these things are generated by a economic system that's supported by politicians and designed by the way money is issued. So our monetary system has to be altered so that it can support the higher uh, the higher aspirations and potential of humanity. Then lastly, there are two other uh, cornerstones in this sacred design of freedom, and that is the broad understanding that humanity is being of nature, B-O-N, man, because as a being of nature, rather than a dominator of nature, that begins to allow us to utilize, to integrate and work with the magic of nature in a way that we have been hindered or prevented or coerced, however you want to put it. We have not been working with nature, we've been looking to dominate nature. So we need to shift that in our broad society so that we can experience the generosity of seed, of heirloom seed, which in turn will be reflected in the economy. And lastly, how we look at time. So in this segment I call TIA, time is art. So right now we're thinking of time as money. We're thinking about it in a linear way. And what I see when we go to freedom is that we will be restoring the 13 moon calendar, and we will really delve into the idea and the prospects that time is an art. It's an artful thing, how we experience time, the past and the future, and how we interact with time and in time, totally dislodging the idea that time is money and that sort of pressure that brings, that destructive pressure that has harmed so many people and removed the incentive to spend time building the love in family, which of course is sort of a timeless love. The patience that is implied in a love of family is driven aside with um, um, time is money. So I've gone on quite a bit. I hope that this is helpful for you. Again, uh, I'm not looking to report the news. So many people are doing that already. What I'm looking to do is to help us see where we are going and to keep our eye on the prize, keep our eye on freedom. freedom as a natural order that displaces all the isms from socialism, commercialism, consumerism, capitalism, and communism, all the isms. Those are inferior to freedom as our natural order, and we will have prosperity, we will have justice, we will have an environment that's kept, that's cared for, and we will have the ability to be creative and health and well-being. So let's keep our eye on the prize. And thank you for joining me today. I will let you go at that. Bye. How do I turn this thing off? Have fun today. Remember to think about what we want too, even while we're watching all the things crumbling. Take time to imagine what freedom looks like. Bye.